My name is Gathoni Mbugua. I'm the head of digital relations. I'll take you through a brief presentation in relation to what exactly does that look like for a hospital. I want to start by asking you a question or taking you back 30 years ago. 30 years ago, what was the means of communication then? Sorry? Thicker people say smoke. Yes. Letters, postcards. I remember my grandfather used to say that they would go to barazas over the weekends to get information. People used to tune in to radio at a certain time when BBC is playing or when the TV is coming on. So what happens today when the normal person, the common mwananchi, goes to look for help, to seek help on a screen first and not the clinic? What is our role as clinicians, and what is our role as psychologists and also the people where social media is concerned? The digital relations department is solely responsible for Chiromo Hospital Group's digital online presence and audience engagement. This department is responsible for creating meaningful and informative and impactful digital experiences that support destigmatization of mental health, patient education, and what we are having here today that you will later see online, stakeholder engagement, and that organization visibly. How can we be able to show people what you're doing? I always say that you could have the best facility, the best clinician, but if nobody knows what is happening, what you're doing, then sometimes, especially to today's generation that relies on information online, to come and connect with you will be much harder. So we have invested heavily on the digital platforms. I don't know how many of you are on any social media platforms. Are there any people on TikTok here? Show of hands. Yes. All right. Instagram. More hands. Even Dr. Simon Juguna. Thank you. Yes. How many people access information through YouTube? Wow, look at that. And how many people go to Twitter first? If you hear there is traffic, you go first to Twitter to check, is it true or not? X, right? And if it's actually not on the X space, then you actually doubt that information. You're like, is something truly happening or not? And of course, for the much older generation, we can't forget the people who are aware on Facebook. This is how we present these conversations online. As you can see, the first one there is Africa Tweet Chat. And now what we call the X Spaces. So before that, we used to have the conversations going minute by minute and chat by chat. But at least today, because of voice, we can have panelists together to have a conversation. This was a conversation about suicide. The other thing is you can see something on femicide. I think we've had a lot of conversations where this is concerned. And usually people would come online and say, what's your position? What are psychologists saying? What is this? Why is this going on? How is it impacting the people around us? Why is it more now? Then these are conversations that we need to have. So we are in a space where even our leaders can come out and say, I am living with a I'm living with a mental illness, I take medication, I go to therapy, and it is okay. I can still be the best version of myself. regardless of what my condition is. And then we have the Mindfest, where community engagement are concerned. This is specifically about patient-led conversation, not expert-led. These are patients coming together to give their story of how the journey has been. And of course, we cannot forget the statement and the word that goes around every day. And we can say that together. We say what? Ongea? Ongea ikutoke. And as Chiromo Hospital Group, we also have ours that is called Tufunguke. It's the same thing. We are trying to say it is time to speak up, to stand up against stigma and discrimination. This content is not just done haphazardly. We are guided by 4 content pillars. Firstly is trying to destigmatize and trying not to silence people. Globally, we see that 50 to 75% of individuals are not able to seek help due to stigma. I actually found out that is the same statistic as well here in Kenya, 3 to 4 people. That's the treatment gap in Kenya today. The other thing is, and when we're talking about stigma, we are trying to just bust the myths. We are trying to bring the conversation as natural and as normal as possible, okay? And we are also trying to move away from people trying to label themselves. You'll find that a lot of time, conversations out there will go like, I think my spouse has bipolar, or I think akona anxiety, right? So how then can we help people differentiate between how anxiety looks like and worry without necessarily using so much jargon? Trust and connection is very important. If you're not able to connect to people, then they can't come to you, they can't feel safe. People connect with you online first before they even come and see you. And thirdly is about community impact, where we look at partnerships and testimonials. And lastly, about the legacy. Data informs, but history and human connection and human stories create connection, understanding, and lasting impact. The goal here is, how do the people who are connecting with you actually see the real human being and not a robot behind that treatment? And you can see the questions that come when we look at the chat box. Where are you guys located? Sending love to those beautiful clinicians. We don't have different types of psychologists. I think it all depends on, that's a response. Somebody else also asked, which insurances do you take? All right, so the exact, where are you located, the exact date, what kind of doctor will I be able to see, which insurance, how do I get to the hospital? These are literally the kind of questions that just come from just that little engagement. So sometimes, and I just want to encourage all of you that it's also time that we move away from just being behind the desk, because the question is, if the people who need our help are going to screens first, not clinics first, then who should lead those conversations? Who should be at the forefront of those conversations? And last but not least is also leveraging on what other people say. As Chirumo Hospital Group, we are deeply committed to meet each and every person wherever they are. Whether it's offline, we are here, or online, we are also there. Thank you very much.